all their life that they're nothing. And then that's where I don't understand your comments, because you're trying to empower, and I'm not just advocating for Latinos, because my organization is dedicated to the promotion of the educational status of all immigrants, not just the
My answer to you is you empower them by giving them the skills necessary, not just for education, but understand the importance of education. I'm learning how to read. There were 100 dreamers here. We tell them, you need to learn about how politics works, as far as politics. And the better than taking over the congressman's office, say, Mom, did you see me on television? I took over congressman's office.
How are you?
No. Actually, if you go work for that congressman, and you actually go volunteer for that congressman, you learn how the process works, you might be able to understand how this can get something out of these people. And so I think the dreamers are incredibly naive, or even they just got here 2 minutes ago. And the dreamers, when you say dreamers, as typically been told their whole life that they're not such a thing, and that they have no right to discriminate, that they've been discriminated against, join the club, okay? I mean, look around. There are people here who are 50, 60 years old, who've been in this country, who were born here, and their parents were born here. In my case, 5 or 6 generations, they were all told that. Now, dreamers are not special. Dreamers didn't just invent discrimination.
But how about
the first group of Latinos that people pissed on? They pissed on Latinos for a long way back, okay? They're still doing it.
Okay, but like you said, that they're not sophisticated, but they're learning. They're going through a learning experience.
I don't think they're learning the right lessons.
Okay, well, okay, you may be right, but
I am right. If they stand up, if they stand up at a congressional hearing,
you sound like
if they stand up at a congressional hearing and say, "Oh, you're being
not all of them go home and brag about the way you described them. I think you're doing them a disservice. I know a lot of them. I work with some of them. I was a high school teacher. Some of them work 2 or 3 jobs. Some of them have no parents.
I know. I just made that point earlier.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think the message should have been for them? So if they were standing at the congressional hearing, what do you think was
Sit the hell down. Shut up and sit down and listen. And then if you stay there for 3 hours and you listen to what's going on, you can process and listen, and then you can stand up and ask a question like a civilized person, and you'll be able to bring that point up. See, no, what you did is you pissed off all those people, including those white Republicans, and you're going to need their votes. And when on Monday, when they don't vote for you, you're going to say, "Sabes que? That guy's a racist. He's a racist. Why is he a racist? He voted against me." No, dumbass, because you stood up in the middle of the hearing and held up a sign.
That's the only reason, right? They're going to say, "Hey, we're not going to vote because you stood up in the hearing."
Yeah. You shouldn't make it easy on them.
I'm going to go home.
You shouldn't make it easy.
A lot of the tactics that you're deriding were the civil rights tactics.
Yes.
Ruben, when's the last?
Let's talk about that.
All right.
I know it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
I know. Except you don't acknowledge the nuances. You paint a lot of black and white pictures. It's not black and white.
Do me a favor. We all want the same thing. Just do me a favor.
Right.
So you don't alienate my African-American friends and supporters. Don't draw comparisons between the civil rights movement, which was a case of African-Americans born in this country asking for rights that they were due, versus rights for people who are here illegally. Don't do that.
Okay, because they were both. They weren't cognizant when they came to the United States.
Okay, that's fine. I see.
Were the Dreamers cognizant when they came to the United States?
I can only talk to one of you at a time.
Were they cognizant when they were here in the United States?
Cognizant?
Yeah, about where they were at. Really, when they're 2 or 3 years old? Yeah, they know. Hey, you know what? I'm traveling to the United States now.
They're being brought here, so because they're brought here by their parents, there is an accommodation that's being worked out for them, and there's no problem with that.
No, the answer is no. Okay, they weren't cognizant that they've been here in the United States.
Answer, I have my answer.
And that's fine, but that's the answer.
The answer is when they're brought here, there's an accommodation being made now in Congress by Joaquin Castro and others to exactly allow for that. Do you know that in the current debate in Congress, they're actually saying that the pathway should be 10 years for a green card, but a shorter path for Dreamers? They're going to give Dreamers an accommodation because Dreamers didn't come here on their own. They were brought here.
I think the fact of the matter is that we're all trying to point out. Of course I did. Is that, and I am listening.
To you, okay,
great.
This is how you become smart, right?
So this is where you let me speak, okay?
No, okay. So you got to listen.
I understand. I listened to you for 30 minutes, and then now we're speaking. This is our feedback.
Right, but they come here to listen to you.
Okay, so look, the fact of the matter is that we don't tell anybody that they're not special. We don't tell that 18-year-old kid that we're sending to Afghanistan with the M16, hey, you're not special, man.
Well, we need to, because because they might die
when they're in war?
As I made
no,
clear
that doesn't
to you,
make any sense.
Every 18-year-old in America, if you come to know those 18-year-olds, as I come to know them, they have been marinating in these juices. White kids, black kids.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true, right?
Many of these 18-year-old kids.
Okay, that's different. That's different. You said
everyone I've met. I'm sorry, every 18-year-old I've met has
and that's everyone,
different
right?
view of themselves And part of this, my view is a part of this, part of this sort of Facebook, Twitter, American Idol culture is me, look at me, I'm special.
A lot of them is true, but we have a lot of very altruistic young people.
And what we're arguing about here is how do we get the votes? How do we get the 160 to get people like the gardeners and the housekeepers? That's what we need.
You know what one of the things is?
That these tactics are helpful.
Okay, that's fine. You know what bothers me though is, like, I'm a teacher. A lot of my colleagues are not engaged. That's one thing that we need to pay more.
Right.
The Latino middle class is not. They're just as naive in many ways as you described the dreamers. So, and they have a bigger responsibility. The Latino has more of a responsibility because we're educated.
Well, let me tell you about naive. There are many Mexican Americans who vote for Barack Obama and they support him, and they turn around and they say immigration is important to them. There's no way to square that circle. Barack Obama has demonstrably the worst immigration record of any U.S. president, period.
Because Romney's was better, right? Hey, how about you just go back to your country? Oh, okay. Hey, but that's a distinction, man. You want to compare it.
That's the worst argument. That's the weakest argument to defend your president.
Why? Because it's against your thoughts?
But you know what?
You can't just say
Of course it's the worst. It's the worst comparison.
The president's responsible for his actions, and you have to hold him accountable.
Do you think we're going to get immigration reform at all?
I don't think so, because I think that the ultimate devil in the details is you have a coalition of people ready to defeat it that include nativist Republicans and the Union Democrats. And here's what I'm looking at.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, it's fine, but you asked me
Maria Elena Durazo.
See, I don't have another opinion to give to you that will make you happy. You asked me my opinion, and I'm not a student in your class, and there's not three answers I can check off the right answer. There's no right answer. I'm giving it to you.
Okay.
So here's the answer.
What's the point?
That in the Union states of Wisconsin and Michigan and Ohio and the like, when I go in those places, there are Democrats there who have been Democrats their whole life who think that Mexican government is the right thing. And they don't have an interest as
Okay,
Democrats.
I agree there's some...
Sherrod Brown in Ohio.
Sherrod Brown in
Ohio. I think we're going to get immigration reform and of some type. It won't
I
be
think Democrats
perfect.
and Republicans will link up to kill it.
Last question.
Okay, let's see if we can have a conversation in 4 months about this. And then Obama historically has a chance of having, a little line in his historic...
For all the deportations.
I know about that, but historically...
Hi everyone, we're moving your walls.
Remember Mesa?
Thank you.
Huh? Yeah, I know. Ridiculous. We can take care of it.
Hispanic Caucus, like